I will kickstart with a really interesting topic, and I hope you will enjoy it as well. So, before I start with my topic, I'll just like to give a huge shout out to the whole team of Community Days Mexico City 2023, and this is powered by Microsoft Cloud Events. So, I'm sure that you will be enjoying this throughout today's session, where we are going to talk about Teams AI Library. But before I deep dive, I would like to thank our sponsors so that they provide us the opportunity and we can just share our knowledge and we can learn together and grow together. So, a little bit about me. Myself, Shrushti Shah, and I am a technical consultant. Majorly, I work around Microsoft 365 applications. Like previously, I worked on SharePoint Online and Teams-based applications, be it using live capabilities or Teams AI library. And apart from that, Power Platform, Azure, Infrastructure as a Code, a lot on which I've worked. And yes, I'm a Microsoft MVP, and I keep speaking at various conferences, and I do write some of the blogs as well. So let's just dive into what exactly today you're going to learn from this session. So today's topic is very interesting. It is about Teams AI library. So whenever I talk about Teams application, on majorly not everyone knows about different kinds of Teams applications. So one is probably a personal Teams app, just like an app which is opened into your Teams application, and it can be used by any user who has a Teams account, and that application is not necessarily to be a part of a team or a meeting or a group chat, right? Hence it is a personal application. The other type of applications are the meeting applications, like when you come to the meeting, when you join the meeting, and just like how you can take polls. Similarly, polls is kind of an example of meeting app. But yeah, apps have three different life cycle. One is pre-meeting, in meeting, and post-meeting. And the other type of applications are like bots, wherein you can just converse with the bots and get the answers of the questions like Q&A or FAQ, any kind of bot, and messaging extensions. There are a few different type of applications which I will show in the Teams. But yeah, that is what Teams app is about. But how exactly you add AI capability into your Teams application? That is what Microsoft came up with, which is Teams AI library, and how you can create your own Teams application with the touch of AI or with addition of AI, which is the new Azure OpenAI service or OpenAI. How you can do that? I'll be talking about that today. So this is the agenda. We'll see what Teams AI library is, what it has to offer. So let's say if I want to really jump into creating Teams application using Teams AI library, how I can do that. So definitely there are prerequisites like these all things you will need before you get started while creating Teams application. Next is we'll see how you can build probably your first. If you already have done or created this, then maybe this is kind of a helpful session for you so that you know that hey, I performed all these steps, or is there anything new which came up? So that is just a refresh for you then. Or and next is how you can prepare your environment so that AI capabilities are performing well with the application. So let's just go ahead and deep dive. Firstly, when I talk about Teams app, so just to refresh few of the things, I will go to the Teams, and this is my Teams application. Probably now everyone is well versed with what Teams is. Just a second. I think I opened the wrong window. Yeah. So right now what you see here is this is my, let me just go ahead and open any of the application. Okay, so Viva Connections is kind of, we'll assume this as one of the app. But if you already have some pre-built or custom applications for you, then you can go to the App Store, you can manage your apps, and you will find different type of apps which you can add in your Microsoft Teams. So this is kind of a Teams app store where you will find apps of your organization or the apps which you have built with Power Platform like Power Apps or Power Virtual Agent bots, etc. And some of the apps which are already out of the box built in by Microsoft, and those are popular. You can find all those. Also, you can find by categories, industries, etc. So when you talk about custom applications, so it will be right inside in your build for your organization. So just like you see some of the apps which I have here, these are some of the apps which are custom applications, and not necessarily they are all personal. Okay, personal applications is like whenever I go to the app store and if I search by any of the app, just like this one, and this is my personal app. Right now, this is not connected at all, hence I am getting this error. But just to give an example, this is one of the app, and it opens in the personal space. It is not into a team or a group chat, hence this is the personal. If I go to the group chat or my personal chat or any meeting, let me just go to some meeting. Can enter. Can I see my calendar? Oops. I think we just add to Teams. And whenever you create a meeting invite, in that majorly you would have observed there is this plus icon, just like how I see it here. So this is a Teams, but wherever you see this plus icon in your meeting chat or group chat, you can add all your custom or out of the box applications as well. So these are kind of the pre-meeting. So right now I'm not inside the meeting. Hence, this application interface will be your pre-meeting or post-meeting app because you can go to that chat or team after the meeting as well. And when you open a meeting, just like how I am right now in, I will go through this and you would see plus icon in your teams if you have a Microsoft 365 E3 or E5 tenant, and then you can go ahead and add applications which are custom apps. So these are the different kind of apps. Apart from that, there are different ones like bots where you can directly converse with them, and the other ones are like messaging extensions. So let me just go to any of the team, and if I start writing a post, you see these are few of the things which you see here. And if I click on add button, I can also add a type of any application, either custom or out of the box. And that is the other type of app called as messaging extension. So one such type we are looking at today is bot, because when we converse anything, when we talk about AI, the most efficient way to interact is using bot, so that you know, hey, yes, I'm using AI capabilities, I'm getting the answers, but yeah, I have not prepared any intent or anything for bot. All of the answers and responses I'm getting from AI, which is Azure OpenAI, endpoint and service. So we'll talk about that. Let me just go back to the slides. Now I hope you have the context of different types of applications which are created using Teams. So let's just talk about what exactly this Teams AI library is, right? So when I talk about Teams AI library, it is nothing but an SDK. So many, just like how we create any of the JavaScript based or React based application, we tend to install some of the packages, right? So those are called the SDKs. Similarly, one such SDK is Microsoft Teams AI Library SDK. It helps you to add your Azure. It helps you to connect with your Azure OpenAI or OpenAI service. And all you have to do is just take care of some of the prompts, add some configurations for your prompts, define some actions, and your bot is ready to go. Right. So this is what Teams AI library is. It gives everything right inside this library, like right from the prompts or defining your endpoints, key, etc. Everything you have to do, and this is all in just in Teams library. All you need to know is just how and where to add these things. Let's just go ahead and look at the prerequisites. So let's say I want to create an app and that should have AI capabilities. What are the prerequisites which I should have in my local machine, right? So these are the prerequisites. First thing is definitely the Node.js version. So if you are on the Node.js version 14 or 13, it will not work. You need Node.js version 16 or 18 to make it work. Definitely the next thing is you should have in Microsoft 365 development tenant. Why do you need development tenant? Because there are a few features like custom slide loading, just like I can upload my custom applications, or I can be a Teams admin where I can just verify whether everything is working fine or not. So there are two ways of uploading your app. One is side load your app, which is custom applications. The other is if you have access to your Teams admin, or if you are not a Teams admin, then maybe side loading feature will help you. But if you have, then great. We can publish the app directly from the toolkit and you can just start using your application into your Teams. Next is how you can get the 365 tenant if you don't have already. So Microsoft do provide Microsoft developer accounts. So all you need to do is just Google Microsoft 365 developer account. And if you don't have Microsoft 365 tenant, just get it one for yourself. All you need is just a company account or your personal email ID and then register it and you will get a developer account. Probably it is only for 3 months, but If you use it frequently and just work on it, then maybe it will not expire and it will extend. So just keep a note of it. Next is Teams Toolkit. So I'm going to talk about Teams Toolkit in the next slides, and I have kept a brief slide for it so everyone understands what Teams Toolkit is, what features it has to offer, and which version of Toolkit you are supposed to use. So there are different versions of Teams Toolkit, but for Teams AI library, so that it you can use Teams AI library into your application, the Teams Toolkit version 5.0.0 is compatible. So just make a note of this slide as well. That will be helpful. Next thing is you need, we are talking about AI a lot, right? So how will I add these AI capabilities? I need some kind of endpoint by which I have that endpoint and key, and I can just go ahead and add it, and I am start. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to converse with my bot or Teams app. So what you need is either an Azure OpenAI service or an OpenAI. So if you don't have Azure OpenAI service, then just go to OpenAI, create your account, and create a key, and you're good to go. Next is Visual Studio Code. Because Teams Toolkit is an extension which you can use in Visual Studio Code, so all the coding will be done in Visual Studio Code. Also, you need Azure account. So if you are running this locally, just you want to try or doing a POC, then it is fine. You don't need an Azure account at all. But if you want a application which is production ready or which you are developing for some use case in your organization, or this is a client project, then definitely you have to deploy this somewhere. So the deployment is done in Microsoft Azure, and for that you need Azure account as well. And there are some configurations which we'll look at later once we deep dive into the code. Next, toolkit. So I'm not going to spend my time in elaborating from the slides. I'll go right into my Visual Studio Code. So what I have is, this is my Visual Studio Code, just like probably everyone would have seen. And I will go to the extensions. I will type in Teams Toolkit. And this is the Teams Toolkit. All you have to do is just install and make sure that you the installed version. So let me just, yes, install another version. And you'll see all the different type of versions of Teams Toolkit here. Make sure you install 5 or above, 5.0.0 or anything above 5.0.0. So right now I have 5.2.0 version, and I am in the release version and not in the pre-release version. Okay, I will just, yeah. As soon as you install the Teams toolkit, even though if you don't, you will see some information about what toolkit is, what capabilities it can offer. So you can directly, without the worry of uh, setting up your environment, you can start creating applications. So one is tab kind of application, the other is bot, and the message extension. I already talked about different type of Teams application. So whenever I talk about personal app, it can either be a bot or a tab. Also, pre-meeting or any meeting state application can either be a tab, bot, or message extension. Message extension is just kind of you just need a Teams or any message tool command where you can add that application. So message extension is a bit different. Rather, bot and tabs are quite easy to understand from the layout. Now, what you have to do is here exactly the same prerequisites are noted down: Node.js version, 365 account, and Azure account. Now, as soon as you install this toolkit, you will see this installed into your Visual Studio Code, and you will see this left navigation, which is the left panel open for you. Now, as soon as you come here, you see there are two accounts which I have already added. One is my Microsoft 365 developer account, and the other is my Azure account. So one thing you have to do is, definitely for this you need Microsoft 365 developer account, and side loading should be enabled. Now, what side loading feature exactly is? Again, I'll go back to my Teams and I'll click on the applications, manage your apps, upload an app. So as you can see, I can upload the app right from the App Store as well. And same thing, you can do it even if you are part of some meeting. Let's say this is a meeting and I want to add an app. Manage apps. And here you can also add the app. So either in the group chat or in the meeting, you can just upload the apps. So that is what side loading is. If side loading is disabled, you will not be able to upload your apps into your group chat or meeting chat, even not in your manage apps. This upload an app feature will be disabled for you. Next is what is the other way where you can upload your applications? The other way is going to your Teams admin center. So let me just go back to the Teams admin center. And you will see Teams applications, manage apps, and whenever you publish the apps directly from Toolkit, it publishes or it adds that app package directly in my manage apps section. And once you zip your package with the manifest files and the icon files, that zip package you can take it and you can directly upload it customly into your meeting or chat from the App Store. So these are the two ways. Side loading is whenever you upload your app as a custom app directly from the App Store. And when the app is uploaded in Manage Apps and then you start seeing into your Teams App Store, that is the normal, not custom way, but yeah, this is how it is the managed way of uploading applications. So these are the two types. Now let me go back to the interface. Okay. Now you know what side loading is because I have this feature already turned on. And now you can turn this feature on. All you have to do is just go to the setup policies, global, and upload custom apps should be turned to on. Okay, right now it was off, probably not sure, but yeah, let's just go ahead and save it. If I turn this on for this tenant, I already have it on. Okay, so let's just go back and the side loading for this account is already enabled and I also have an Azure account. Next is environments. So whenever we create application, we develop it first and then we deploy it to our UAT or test environment and then we deploy it to the production environment. So definitely all the different environments are different and it has different configurations. Like the Teams account is different, the credentials are different, etc. Like all the configurations are different for each environment. Hence, Toolkit provides you that transparency where you can have each environment. So you can create app for local, you can create applications for dev. Also, you can create a new environment for product called production, and Toolkit will maintain the configuration for each and every different environment. And how it will maintain? If I go to this folder structure, you see the environments and I have right now environment file, environment configuration for dev and local. So similarly, you can add your configurations for production as well, and everything will be intact. So whenever you run the application or deploy it or test it, it will take that into consideration, that environment into consideration. So environment, as you can see from the screen, development. There are few stages of development. Either you can create an application, new app from the scratch, just like if I click on new app, what type of application you want to create. Either it is a bot, tab, Outlook add-in, because now you can also add your applications across Microsoft 365, like as an M365 app or an add-in. So it also has the capability. If I just click on bot, what kind of bot do I want to create? Oh, I want to create a chat bot, which is an AI chat bot. Just hit this and which language do you want to create this bot in? JavaScript or TypeScript? So ideally, you create your bots in a tightly coupled language, which is TypeScript. But if you are well versed with JavaScript, please go ahead and click JavaScript and just select a folder of your choice, and the scaffolding folder will be ready for you with all the default files. So let's just go ahead and create a new window and see that in action. I will just, okay, let it load. I will create a bot, AI chatbot with JavaScript, and default folder, I will keep it the same. Okay, I confirm. And now you see in the output panel, the scaffolding of all the folders is happening here. So just wait for a minute and the folder structure will be right inside. And let's just go ahead and go to the documents, Teams application. It, okay, let's just wait. I have this. And do you see the whole folder structure already got provisioned? This is how you will get the scaffolded application. So let's just go back and see. This is what you will get it when you provision. I'm the wrong folder. Yes. So once you are done, you will see this folder structure just like this. And I'll click on escape. And the other way is if you don't want to create it from scratch, you also have samples. So these are the pretty much, okay, maybe my GitHub is not loading, probably some network issue. But yeah, there are a few samples which you'll see, and this will directly have the link of GitHub. And there you can get all the samples of Teams, either Teams AI or bot, machine extension, tab, anything. So you can pick anyone from this, and it will create the same folder structure for you. And the app is already ready to use. You can also test the app because that is a created application, and then you can add your customization in their app. Probably, let's say I want to create a meeting app, which is a meeting application, and I want to add some different kind of layouts in my meeting app, and this meeting app is related to some healthcare organization. The data is stored in the storage account, and all of those things you can do it. But this gives you a baseline where you can just find it beating TypeScript solution or beating JavaScript solution, and then pick it up, and then it will create a folder for you, and then add the custom things whichever you want. This will just give you a plain vanilla Teams application and meeting app. Okay, it got loaded, some network problem. So similarly, as you can see, these are the different tags which are already added. It is just up to you what kind of application are you creating, a bot or tab or message extension. Right now, we are creating an AI powered bot. So I think somewhere you should see that in the suggestions. Not sure whether you see that or not. But if there is any sample already, just pick it up and create it. If I click on anything and you click on create, and it will be created for you. There are a few guides which are already recommended. Just go through those guides, and these guides are kind of detailed scenario wherein how you can configure your tab, bot, or if you want to send a notification in the form of adaptive card, or if you want to embed a dashboard or integrate APIs to create CI/CD pipelines, etc. You can do all of those things. And preview feature is currently we haven't reached this stage. These are the life cycle items wherein once you are done with the development or code adjustments, then there are three life cycle, and this life cycle is intact with your Azure. So by Azure, I mean, let's say I am not debugging it locally. If I am debugging it locally, then I can just hit F5 and then I can debug and everything will run. But if you want it to be deployed somewhere, then you provision, and provision deploys or creates Azure resources like storage account, web app, and few of the other bot. If you are creating a bot, then function app for you so that you can have the endpoint, etc. And this infrastructure is already tightly built and it is provided by Toolkit, so you don't have to worry about the infrastructure. But if you are adding some new infrastructure layer, like you are adding some storage account, probably that is currently not provided, then you have to create it on your own. But yeah, if you are just creating on the baseline, then maybe you get that infrastructure in. Deploying is if you are making some code changes and to get that intact with your with your Azure resources, then you deploy this. Provisioning is just creating a new Azure resource, while deploying is adding your code to that deployed to your created Azure resources. So this both has to run together unless and until if you don't run. So provisioning you always have to perform one. It is one-time activity unless and until you are creating any new Azure resources or made changes in the infrastructure. But deployment, you have to do this again and again if you are using a UAT or production live application. Publishing, it will directly take the package, put it into your Teams admin center, and then you're good to go. But if you are going by side loading, or if you want to add custom applications, then just zip the Teams app package and Toolkit will zip it for you, and you can just take that package and upload it. Now let's just go into the AI things, which we haven't talked about it yet. So this is my code structure, and this is the deployment. We will not discuss about it right now. What we are going to do is we are going to talk about AI. Now, where AI comes into the picture. So as you can see, environments we already have, and these are the variables which you have to define. Now, if I want to attach my bot with a Azure OpenAI service, what I have to do? In my environment file, there are few of the configurations. So let's just say this is my environment local file, and these are the local details of bot, domain, my function, what is the Teams app ID, Teams app tenant ID. Everything this will autofill as soon as you just provision and deploy. Okay, so let's just go and but you need few things which are AI like Azure OpenAI endpoint and key. How will you get that? So go to your Azure resources. I will go to my Azure. I will just portal.azure.com, and you have to create an Azure OpenAI service. Azure OpenAI service is currently only available in US region, but yeah, if you are an MVP or if you are uh, Microsoft regional director, then maybe you can just get this as well. So just you have to fill out a form after which you get the access so that you can create Azure OpenAI services. I've created an Azure OpenAI service, and this is the custom DALI. This is the name which I've added. And all you have to do is you have to go to the model keys and endpoint. This is the key endpoint. Just pick one key and the endpoint, and you're good to go. But if you really want to play with the Azure OpenAI service, whether it really works or not, then go to the explore section. This is the Azure OpenAI Studio. And in the deployments, all you have to do is you have to create a deployment, and the model, there are different type of model like GPT-35 Turbo, GPT-35 Turbo 16. Make sure you create a deployment of GPT-35 Turbo 16 and the model version, and give some deployment name like any deployment name. And there are a few advanced options like how many tokens per minute you want to allow, whether you want to allow enable dynamic quota or not. Once you are done, just hit create and it will be created for you. I'll go into this one. This is the existing one which I've created. And there are a few sections like chat, completions, and DALI. The chat is the one which we ideally use. Uh, so as you can see, this is the view code. And in the view code, you will find all the details like this is my endpoint, this is the preview version, this is my key, these are the key and endpoint, and this is the configuration which you will need it into your application. Now let's just go ahead and type in. I am just asking what is Microsoft Teams app, and definitely it is responding, right? So this works. This is the Azure OpenAI. It works. This is the chat playground. So all you need is this much information. Once you are done, just copy this information somewhere, and we are back to our code structure. So there are two files for each environment you're going to create. One is local and local user. In the local, you have to add Azure OpenAI endpoint. If you are using OpenAI, because if you, let's say you don't have Azure OpenAI service, then you have to add OpenAI endpoint. And similarly, you have to add your key, which is the secret here. Once you are done, we'll go to the next section, which is the code section. Okay, yes. Definitely, I've installed Teams AI library. Hence, you will not be able to index.ts. Yeah, Teams AI library is already installed in my this solution. And next, what I'm doing is I'm going to index.ts file. There are a few AI capabilities which you have to add. One is in config.ts, you have to update. Definitely, when you create a normal bot, you just update the configuration for bot and bot ID and password. But now we are also adding AI capabilities. So you also have to update OpenAI key and OpenAI endpoint variables as well. Once you are done, go to the index.ts file. And in the index.ts file, we are going to add some of the things. Okay. So everything you will get it as it is. This is a normal bot, nothing new. If you just create a normal bot, it will give everything. The extra additions, what we are doing is we are adding these three sections. One is planner, prompt manager, and storage. Now, what exactly this three is? Okay. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to go to the, let me just find that. Yeah. Okay. So these are the three AI core capabilities which we ideally add into our team's AI solution. Planner is the OpenAI planner, and that is the class which is provided to us. This planner will call your OpenAI, which we just now created, right? It was the GPT-35 Turbo 16, and you can use that directly so that it can convert. So what all we are going to add is endpoint key, what is the API version, etc., and the deployment name. These are the capabilities which we are going to add in the planner. Prompt manager is like, okay, now I have the endpoint, I have the key, and these are the header and query parameters. What next? What next you want to do with this endpoint? What you're going to do is you're going to add a body because we are writing a post call. So that body is kind of a prompt manager where we create a prompt configuration. In that prompt, we add this is the user prompt, this is the prompt by AI assistant, and all the different kind of properties like tokens, temperature, etc. Next is moderator. This is the third part. And in the moderator, which means like when you are conversing with your AI, what kind of language do you want to, like if there is some harmful language, do you want to detect that? And if you do you want to converse in the soft tone or harsh tone, this is what the moderator is about. Now, if we go back to the code and then you will be able to relate it much more. In the prompt manager, okay, in the planner, as you can see, I've added the API key, endpoint, API version, my model name. I want to log some request and do you want to use system messages or not? These are the configurations which I'm making. Next is prompt manager, where I should get the prompt from. So I have created the prompt in the prompt folder, and inside the prompt, there is a chat folder, and this is the configuration, the schema, the type is completion, and I am sending a adaptive card. What am I attaching or what I am adding as a property is the number of max tokens. So definitely you want to restrict your user that, okay, hey, these are the max tokens which are allowed. So you just give 2000 as max token or any number which you want to give. Temperature, respond back with some number of results. So right now I have gave just 0. You can give 1 or anything, just any number. The penalty and sequence penalty. So these are the configurations. You'll find this exactly same into your playground as well. How you can find that? All you have to do is just see your parameters. These are the parameters: temperature, top, frequency penalty, presence penalty, etc., and just add it into your configuration. Once you are done, I'm also adding a prompt text file. So this is how I want my bot to respond back with. I'm responding back with an adaptive card, and the response which I'm getting is only from my AI only. I'm not responding some hard-coded values. Okay. So these are the configurations. Once you are done, come back. And now my prompt is all set. I have my storage. So you definitely want to store your conversation somewhere. So I'm right now using memory storage only. And then you want to create the application. And the app will be created based on all the three things: planner, prompt manager, and prompt. Where will you find that prompt from? So as soon as you load your application, your chatbot will respond that, hey, I am a bot. I am a Q&A bot or AI assisted bot. So where you will find that in the chat here, we are giving some predefined just text and configuration. Once you are done, we also define some actions. So let's just go back again to take a look. So we did this all thing. We did added prompt, storage, and application. So we have added the memory. Right now we are using in memory only. Next is how you will define your storage and application. We already saw. So one thing is you have to define your storage. That is done. But what is the application? Application will be created using all the three capabilities which we talked about: planner, moderator, prompt manager, and prompt. And next is defining the actions. So after the code which we've written, there are a few lines which you just saw. What are the two lines of code is like that is called as action. And what it does is it is just sending you back the information. Now, definitely, if the bot is responding with hello message, and now you want to start having a conversation with the bot, you want to ask that bot some things about it, and then maybe the bot will respond back with something. But let's say if bot does not know some of the information. Now, let's say this bot is only for your enterprise. It can only give the data of your enterprise information. And let's say I'm now asking bot about, hey, can you tell me about OpenAI? And my bot is only trained to talk about Microsoft Teams. So it will not talk about OpenAI, right? Unless and until OpenAI with Microsoft Teams is in picture. We are just telling about, can you tell me about OpenAI organization? It will not respond. So these are the actions which you want to add it to your application. Like if it doesn't find a satisfactory answer or if there is no response from the bot, then you want to send an activity or a message that I'm sorry, your message was this. And probably if they use some harsh words, then just flag it. Similarly, you can add n number of actions. This is what this is how you can add actions into a bot. And let's just go with the code. Yeah. Once you are done, your local application is ready and it is now embedded with the AI capabilities. Now, what next you have in the folder structure is there is an infrastructure. This infra of which I was talking about, what it has is it has the bot, and this is the bicep file. So this using this bicep file, your pipeline will run, and when I hit that provision, the pipeline will run and pipeline will provision a bot for me. And apart from bot, it also adds all the configurations to my bot file. These are the configurations like what is the bot ID, password, etc. So this is what happens when I hit provision. So let's just go ahead and hit provision, and I will provision my solution, and we'll go to the output panel. Till the time it provisions, let's go ahead and check out few of the other information. So this is the Teams toolkit version 5.5 or 5.0.0, sorry. And what it helps you to give is it gives you the pipeline. This is the pipeline which is already inbuilt. And using this pipeline, I am provisioning, my infrastructure is getting provisioned. Uh, and all of the things which we are doing, I'm not writing a single line of code here to provision, build, or deploy. Nothing. I'm just hitting a button, and just on click of that button, this pipeline is running and it is provisioning it for me. So these are the two pipelines. One is for local and one is for dev. And all it has is there are a few stages. One is it creates a team app for you. The other stage is it updates the bot registration. So with all the bot ID and endpoint information. And it creates a manifest file which you need while you upload this package. And it builds the manifest and adds it to your Teams admin center. Everything is taken care by your pipeline. So as you can see, now my pipeline had my provisioning was successful. Let's go ahead and see whether it was really successful or not. I'll go to my resource groups. And as you can see, these three resources are provisioned for me. One is bot, app service, and app service plan. So if you go to the bot, you go to the configuration, and you will see all those configuration for your bot, like bot endpoint, etc. Channels, it will already be linked to your Microsoft Teams. As you can see here, it is linked to my Microsoft Teams. And if I go back and I'll show you the configurations, app service, just go back, this plan, properties. I did see that just a second. I want to show you where all you see that variables. Okay, let's just go check bot profile. But you will find all the information. Probably I'm searching in the wrong place, but let's just go ahead and verify where this information is residing at. Okay, it is residing in the web app. I'm searching in the wrong place. So in the web app, in the properties, you will see all the information stored. Now, next, what you have to do is you have to click on deploy so that all the code which I have written will be deployed along with not just infrastructure, but the code which we have written. These code like config, index, etc. And once your code will be done, you will see something like this. I just till the time it is running. Whenever you ask something to that Clippy bot, you will see the information about Microsoft Teams or any information because you're using Azure OpenAI service and you can find all the information. Right now, I'm not using enterprise data, but if you want to restrict and use only enterprise data, then you have to make sure that while you're creating Azure OpenAI service, you just add your own data and add that data source. You can add storage account, cognitive service, or upload files. So either of that you can do. If you have your organization data in the blob storage, make sure that it is correctly linked. But if not, then just use Azure Cognitive Service and make that Azure Cognitive Service create indexes and then do all those things, map it. Once you are done, then whenever you will go, you ask any question, it will only give you the information of your enterprise. If there is some question which is not related or not found into your enterprise or not related, then maybe it will just give you a static message which is sorry, I couldn't find some information, something like that. So this is what the bot exactly is. And if you really want to go ahead and start using these the bot applications, and if you're finding some solutions which are sample or you want to kickstart your AI library journey, then I would recommend you to go and use Teams AI library samples. I will hit this into your, not this one. This is the open source where you can clone the repository and you will find all these Teams AI solutions, AI application solution. In this, there are different kinds as well, .NET, JavaScript, etc. So if I click on JavaScript, you will find all the applications in the samples. These are the samples, which are AI samples, and all of them you can find it inside this. Let me just hit this in the chat once I'm done, and then you can just start picking up the sample and you can just start playing around with it. Just deploy it and see how it works for you. All you have to do is just add your OpenAI or Azure OpenAI service endpoint or key to it. And before that, I definitely recommend a beautiful video by Aika. She created a great video on Clippy for Teams bot and also a documentation which is provided by Microsoft. I'll share this in the chat as well. So I'm open for any questions. I think I'm not running out of time, right? Okay, let's see if we have any questions. If there are no questions, then please feel free to type in the chat or I will just share the links with you in the chat. And thank you so much for listening to me very kindly and giving me the opportunity to speak. Looking forward to participating again next year. And if you have any questions, feel free to type in and I will take that up as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Hi, everyone.